good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. The grey slate stone of the Wicklow Mountains rises imperiously over our intrepid heroes' heads this evening as they wend and twist their way in order to find purchase high above the city of Dublin. Tonight it is that the trial and the proceedings against Miss Yuki Kimura is set to begin, and the mages have been informed that the judge has chosen the ground in which he will conduct the trial. But, however, in keeping with his tradition, he does not wish to do so in the city. Rather, he wishes it to be outside, wherein he can hear the spirit's song more clearly. So, the members of the 9 mystical traditions have been given GPS coordinates in order to find their way to where it is they're meant to go, in order to greet or hear the proclamations or the edicts for how this is to go forward. They find themselves at the bottom of a wooded forest trail that wends its way up a mountainside. It's approximately 9 o'clock in the evening. The sun is just vanishing over the horizon. It's cooling down, though it was warm today, so it does not exactly impede anyone as they make their way forward. There will be 1 or 2 other people with you that you've not met before, and some of them who you have. Magister D'Onofrier of the Order of Hermes will stride, still in her white uniform, as always, amongst you, shepherding a newly acquired, as he prefers to call himself, Bobby Mage. Oh, look at the baby. In her wake, as she often does. The 2 of them will be leaning against, well, she will be leaning against a large oak tree with a cigarette in her mouth, gently smoking it as the other individuals arrive. And in that case, I will intro you guys as groups as near as I possibly can, just so we can get this over with. Thaddeus or Theodius, I'll get this right eventually. Theo, I'm just going to call him Theo. Will already be there. As a matter of fact, so will Nathan, so will Rupert, because let's just have the, 2 Hermetics, and God knows he's a future Hermetic anyway, flock together. In that case, shortly thereafter, we will intro Morgan, Callie, Collins, and Kevin. Yeah, all of you will arrive together. Sip.
Yeah, Callie striding, very, up rigid, very proud, walking ahead, probably in the lead, I would imagine, since Morgan's a bit slower.
Collins will help Morgan up the hill to the location. Baron weight that Morgan needs to bear, and using his cane to help. He is in a less flashy attire than normal.
Oh, I do apologize. I just need to make one identify statement. Tiger will also be with the gaggle of Hermetics, because I keep forgetting he took the oath. Continue with life.
Yep, Morgan is definitely not her enthusiastic, quick-moving self. She won't be making a show of looking pained by any means. She is just clearly taking her sweet-ass time. And begrudgingly allowing Collins to take some of her weight. Because back. Blessedly, she does have a change of clothes, so she is not bleeding through her clothes. That would be gross. But no, she will be following along at a very sedate pace and very angrily eating Skittles, because as challenging as it sounds, she can totally angrily eat Skittles.
Kevin is keeping pace with the group pretty easily, actually. Just walking along in this wonderful countryside, uncomfortably adjusting his gloves.
Oh, and for the sake of note, since there are new eyes, Morgan would be fairly normal if not for the eye patch. The fact that she's wearing a full-size spearhead is a necklace, very large statement piece, and seems to have a no shit wolf pelt, kind of tucked around her belt, like worn around her waist. Totes normal. It's fine.
For the newbies, Callie is horrifically scarred on the left side of her face. It is quite brutal looking. She's in full kind of a mix of metal braids and long kind of twine kind of clothing. You know, she just looks like she stepped off out of a fucking longboat, essentially. She's walking.
Kevin looks like he's on the skinnier side of a middle-aged office worker. A couple buttons near the top of his button-down unbuttoned tie hanging uselessly on top of his chest. And a pair of kind of tightish leather gloves on his hands, but gloves are probably the most eccentric part about him. Looks to be middle-aged, a little miffed.
Collins is a dark-skinned man. He wears a three-piece suit, top hat, has a cane, a wicked smile, and as he enters the area, the shadows being cast kind of flicker and move, sometimes as if they're talking to each other. Other times, they might be dancing.
Okay. Next to join the gathering of Nervolan miscreants will be Eliza.
Eliza got a note. This location, and she's very curious about Albana and actually meeting him, seeing what he's all about. So when she parks one of her vans down the hill and she walks up the hill, she has a cigarette in her mouth. She's wearing some weird kind of gloves that have marks on them. You can see some electronic lines crawling through them. She has hanging from her neck a pair of steampunk goggles. There's some scars in her face, but that's kind of all that's really weird about her.
Cool. I'll now I'll just go over the Hermetics who are here just so they or Hermetics and friends, so they can give a brief description of themselves. So, Nathan.
Rupert is, as that last scene, also wearing his formal legal attire, walking with a cane.
Okay, cool. Next we have Tiger.
Ian's there, dressed in a hoodie and pair of blue jeans. His hair is actually grown out now. Looks to be a dark shade of red. And just kind of wandering around, seeing what's going on.
Cool. And last but not least, we have Patty Mage. Yay!
Is he not the most adorable? Clearly application of only the highest levels of life and mind. No, Theodos is just really just kind of hanging around Nofrier right now because she's the only one he knows and he has very little idea of what is happening. Although he is very curious. Like Mr. Gallo, well, he doesn't use a cane; he uses a walking stick. And anyone who really pays any degree of attention can figure out why. He's able to stand up straight to some extent. But he appears to have some sort of issue walking around. He doesn't. His legs appear to be quite weak. He's clearly using the stick to support himself. And he appears to be just engaged in a rather. He appears to be very engrossed in some sort of. Solo reading session right now with some form of illuminated manuscript.
I like to Nofrier just has one of her fingers lit up and is just lighting the book for him. Just like.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say Yuki will arrive with the rest of Team Pagan. Weird question. Is she restrained in any way or denoted as the prisoner in any way?
Oh yeah, she'd have her hands bound, but not in any like forcefully aggressive way. And she looks completely healed as well, which is an important point to note compared to how some of the people last time she saw her.
What, with most of her skin flayed off?
Yeah,
Yep.
I gave her the fetish thing, which regenerates stuff. I let her
Yes,
use
yes.
that when she was doing. So
Yep.
On
She'll
a side
also have
note,
fresh clothes.
I also have to point out that in that case, Yuki will lose the facial scars thing because that will heal them. Gotta love magic.
Oh, spiffy.
Hmm?
and she's flanked by 4 people as well. You know what I mean? She's like in the dead middle. So yeah.
D'Onofrio kind of pokes Theodos and he's like, "They're here. You have to put away the book now."
He kind of snaps the book shut. Oh, I see. In which case, you wouldn't mind explaining what exactly I'm doing here. I'm quite puzzled as of this moment.
Ultimately, it's probably best you not be left alone for about 48 hours after your awakening, dear. As I had to come here, congratulations, you had to come here.
Oh, splendid. I'll get to meet so many new faces then.
She will wrap her arm around him and she'll say, "Hello, assembled personages. I think everyone here knows me, so I don't really have to do the whole formal introduction. Meet Mr. Theodos Crane. He is newly awakened, and I think I'm taking care of him. You might want to say hello."
Collins will look over. He
I'm
will.
an incredibly gracious host. But yes, an absolute pleasure to meet you all.
Collins will lift his top hat with one hand in a slight salute.
Hmm.
Hey there. Welcome to the party.
D'Onofrio takes that. For the record, fun fact, you've never seen her actively use a different cigarette box. If you actually look at the serial numbers on the side, some of you may notice, she always uses the same cigarette box, but it always seems to have cigarettes in it. She will take out another cigarette with her teeth, and she's going to offer the box around if anyone else wants. She knows that people like Eliza smoke, for example, so she's going to offer the box around.
Eliza already has a cigarette in her mouth.
Excellent.
Collins will
fuck
take
it,
one.
Callie will take one. Fuck it.
You know what? At this
takes
point,
one.
Morgan will take one too. Having a rough day.
She will tap hers with her finger. She doesn't use a lighter. And she'll take a deep drag. And she'll say, "Well, I suppose the best thing I can say for this is good night for it, isn't it?" She shrugs.
At least it's not raining.
True.
Collins pulls out a lighter and he will light Callie in his own cigarette.
Yeah, Morgan. Yeah.
You know what? Since
Hey.
you forgot, Morgan, D'Onofrio will sigh, snap her fingers, and
Yep.
light Morgan's cigarette.
She can decide he's taking too long. It'll be fine. Either way, she's gonna end up lit.
Theodos just kind of hobbles on over to the group.
Are you going to have trouble climbing that climbing up the mountain? She'll say, looking back at him.
He looks on over. Should it be?
It's relatively steep and rocky. I'll let you make the judgment call.
So long as I don't have to do any climbing, it shouldn't be a problem.
Cool. As much as I, like you as a human being, we're not at the point of piggyback friendship yet.
Oh, I would hesitate to be such a burden.
Shall we then? She'll say as she starts to stride off up the heavily wooded slope. Quick question, my little mage chickatees. Who has spirit sight active?
Hello.
Always.
Okay, you do. Oh, sweet zombie Jesus. The entirety of the woods are infested with spider spirits.
The
It's a
weaver.
good thing I
is
don't have
strong.
arachnophobia. It's a good thing I don't have arachnophobia.
Oh boy.
These are not pattern spiders. These are literally the spirits of great spiders, great arachnids and insects that are crawling.
Oh boy.
up to- They're looking at you. They appear to be here for a purpose, and they are looking.
Callie will wave.
You know what? One of the larger ones will wave back.
She looks at Collins.
Collins
Oh
nods and-
shit! 2 points on an out of character note because Evan's not a dick. Does anyone have any real issues with spiders? Because I was gonna put up images, but if you have a real issue, I won't. Does anyone?
I know Tim does, and he may watch this.
No, but he's not here.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And on a side note, does anyone here have arachnophobia as an actual thing on their sheet?
Nope.
All good.
Okay, cool. We may continue on. These only appear to be not really. Chimerical reality appears to be as wacky and weird as the dreaming usually is, but there's nothing eccentric in it.
Right. Okay, that's good.
As said, the spiders also do not have a resonance that is negative. They have a resonance that is very neutral, leaning towards positive. They seem to resonate with things like industry and a positive work ethic and things that are innately positive in and of their own way. So I'm pointing out that they're not like looking at you hungrily. Like, and as I said, one of them waved to you. We'll name him Jim. But yes, up into the forest, you all trek, walking onwards. The night is beautiful.
Theo just lags on behind.
Nafrier will sigh and hoist him onto her back. There will be protests. She will not care.
Okay.
She'll probably throw Rupert or Hyun his walking stick so he can have it when he gets down. I choose to point out that the Order of Hermes are just pragmatic at this point. The response of, no, I don't want to shut the fuck up. Okay. You will eventually come to a clearing of trees with gnarled oak and sycamore all around you. And you will see in the very center of it a very, very large Bedouin-style tent has been erected, almost like an ashram. If any of you are familiar with what an ashram is in northern India, they are almost solid tents. There are so many spider spirits that crawl over this tent. Oh, mother of God! However, once again, they all seem to be relatively happy covering it in spider silk web, or spiritual spider silk web. You also get the rather interesting smell. You also get the rather distinctive smell of. Have any of you ever smelled? Cooking? Or cooking is the best way I can describe it. Have any of you ever smelled cooking milk? Milk that is simmering.
Yes.
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 That smell wafts out to you from the ashram. What do?
Huh.
Tasty. Eliza will take one last drag of her cigarette, rub it out. Alright, we're here. Since it's a tent, we can't really knock, right?
It's got a solid wooden frame.
Well, she'll just kind of give a tap on the door.
Oh, But please, please come in. You hear one of those, and the way I've described it before is: have you ever heard have you ever heard a colonial English accent? So an accent that's almost more English than English because it was learned in the colonies.
No, never heard of that.
The example I give is whatchamacallit. No, I can't remember his name. Fuck. Basically, in the English colonies, if you were taught English, it was not entirely unusual for people of a native descent, when they spoke English, to sound as Cockney or as English speaking or as English as their teacher. It's a rather interesting little linguistic quirk I've noticed. It's particularly common in India and North Africa. But the voice says in very, very understandable, almost heavily Englishly accented English, "Oh, please come in. Yes, it's open."
All right, excuse us. And she will open the door and hold it open for everybody to come inside.
Yeah, Callie strides in.
Well, Collins will open the door and hold it for everybody.
You can each take a tent flap. It'll be fine. Morgan will be issuing Yuki in front of her.
Yeah, Yuki will go in somewhere in the middle of Team Pagan.
Kevin will come in.
Jan will wander in, giving the little thanks nod to the people holding open the tent flaps.
Inside, you will see one of the wonderful quirks of Majory. This place in here is clearly much larger on the inside than it is on the outside. Not by a huge degree, in the sense that it is maybe... On the outside, the tent appears to be maybe 15 feet across by about 10 feet wide, so it appears to be quite large. Inside, it's about 35 feet across by 20 feet wide. So it's almost double. It's almost double the area inside than it is on the outside. The ground is covered in rich carpets and silk, and at the center of the room, bubbling on an open fire, is the source of the smell. As you smell a rich kind of milky smell coming from within the bubbling confines of the cauldron, and standing a little bit off to the side, dressed in black, and having a conversation with the huge. Oh, that's a spider the size of a horse. Why is that in the Umbra? Why is there a spider the size of the horse in the Umbra? Oh.
It's a good thing I can't see that.
Is this guy?
What is this Umbra?
You don't know. They haven't actually said the word Umbra to you yet, but if they do, you may ask that question.
I do.
I'm describing it for those who can see it.
Okay, fair enough. Giant spider horse thing. Got it. I can't see that.
As you enter, he will turn and bow to you. Oh, my friends, it is so good to see you. Please come in. Please come in and make yourselves at home.
Oh,
he will walk to the pot, and you'll see him start to ladle it into bowls. And he will start offering, "Would you, it is tradition in my homeland, before we begin such unfortunate protestations, that I make the symbolic offering of Chal, if you would like to accept." Chal?
I would be honored, sir.
He will give you a bowl. Okay. For those of you, important questions. Rather than going through everyone accepting, does anyone not take the Chal?
What does it look like exactly?
It looks and smells like milk.
Sorry, I'm trying to picture the scene. Is it offering me a sort of bowl you would drink from, or is it a bowl you would offer to an idol?
A bowl you would drink from.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I certainly accept. Hold it.
Fucking milk.
And for the record, it is for the record, Chal is a beverage of fermented camel's milk, sparkling white, that's basically a sparkling camel's milk, flour, and a couple of other ingredients. I've actually had it. It's really nice. I was surprised how nice it was, but yes, it is fermented camel's milk. Your characters may like it or dislike it. It's entirely up to you.
Eliza's gonna turn to Yuki and ask, do you want some as well?
It would be rude to refuse such an offer.
Alright. I mean, you can't exactly eat it like that.
Her
Right,
hands
is
are
she-
tied in front of her. She should be able to maneuver.
Oh,
and
okay.
Just fine.
I thought they were tied behind her. Never mind.
Oh, well, my terrible manners. Please, everyone be seated. Please sit down. Yes. He will denote. He will denote a chair, not a chair. There are cushions. They're on the ground, and he himself will sit, sinking into into what almost looks like the lotus position. Himself on a cushion, and he'll say, "Please, everyone. It was a long way to come, but here I can hear the spirits clearly. It is a good place."
I am glad you found your place, Mr. Albana. Eliza will say as she sits down with the child.
I will.
Or should I say Master Albana?
Please, I am merely a servant of the greater spirits. I hear the dream as they dream it. I have no need for titles.
All right, then.
So, I am... yes. I have been summoned here in order to judge the guilt or innocence of one amongst you. I sense the individual whose hands are currently tied. So, before we begin with any semblance of formalities, I have... please, until such time as she is considered to be guilty, this young lady must be considered to be innocent. If you would not mind untying her hands, please.
Yeah, Morgan will go ahead and just pull the spearhead off from around her neck. Use that to reach down and sever whatever is holding her hand.
Wonderful. Now then, where was I? Yes, my apologies. I am wondering if you have any questions or any answers you would like me to provide about myself, about what is to occur, about the possible outcomes, so that we may all begin this journey on the same footing, upon the same path.
Oh, sorry, what did... Oh, no. Liza, you go.
No, I was just looking over my blue book. You go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, I was just gonna ask, is Theodis aware as to why he's here?
He will have been told that this is a trial of guilt or innocence of someone as it pertains to a very serious matter. They won't have told him what.
Okay, so they're keeping it confidential, in which case he's not going to ask then, because it was probably kept from him for a reason, and he's not stupid.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, sorry, Eliza was going to ask him something.
I know that you have experience dealing with this kind of shit. For example, in cases across Europe, specifically in Bucharest, could you elaborate on some of that? What happened there?
Yes, I can. In Bucharest, there was a... He holds out his hand. You can tell he's trying to find the right English words. And he holds out his hand and he says, there was a group active in Bucharest who were very... Yes, that is correct. My apologies. There was a group in Bucharest whom through various different debased acts. I suppose one would refer to them as nephandic in nature, instilled a being from the dark place of the dream time into the body of a 13-year-old girl. They used such rites as are unspeakable, and I will not speak of them here, in order to open the mouth of hell. Well, I suppose one would call it that from a Judeo-Christian perspective, or the abyss, or the dark place, whichever you would prefer to monogarize it as, and tore free this essence in order to place it within a child. Myself and 2 of my colleagues responded to this when we were asked to by a number of our, how would you say, friends or indeed compatriots, and I had to perform the exorcism to try and rid the essence of from the child before it could completely corrupt her soul and allow it to fully manifest itself in the physical world. Fortunately, I was able to drive away the demonic essence. However, the child did not survive.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes, as am I. I did everything that was within my power. However, we were too late. And to answer your question, what does his aura look like? He's got the standard mage sparkles. He's very calm at the moment, very collected. There's an undercurrent of sadness to him at the moment, but you might assume that that is because of the thing he knows that he has to do, and he doesn't like doing it, but he will. But yes, unfortunately, by the time that it is that we are generally informed, the acts of the spirits from the dark place in the dream have already in general reaped a bloody harvest. We are there in order to, how would you say, see to the containment and those whom remain.
She'll nod. Okay. Thank you.
This is the reason why I cannot overestimate or simplify. There is nothing that is good in what must be done, oftentimes, in order to prevent the same flow, the same corruption from spreading deeper. Oftentimes, we must look to the future by burning what is the past. As it pertains these entities, there is no positive forward steps after they have been encountered. Oh, sorry, was somebody saying something? Nope. Now then, does anyone else have any other questions for me? He will sip his own drink.
Will you be the one issuing the final judgment?
Yes, I believe that that is something that I will be doing, yes.
Yuki will nod.
I did wonder, I assume, I was not directly told. He'll look at the room assembled, and he'll genuinely say, in the event that, and this is for me to know, I will happily take it upon myself in the event that guilt is ascertained. And I emphasize the phrase, if guilt is ascertained. Are you requiring me to also carry out the sentence?
Liza will kind of look at her own magical murder bag and say, I only have messy ways of doing it.
Well, there is not just the concern for the temporal life, there is also the concern for the soul. Not the higher soul, not the Shinka or the avatar, but the lower soul, the essence of the soul. As if that has been tampered with, if deals have been made, then it is possible that after death that may be dragged elsewhere. And there's also that to be considered. It is not, I have no doubt of the ability to end life, as sacred and precious as life is. I am also talking about if it is determined that for the greater good, that the Shinka, or the Shinkara, the lower soul, must itself be either destroyed or contained. So it does not go elsewhere to power some grander infernal machination.
Would it be better to ascertain the procedure once the verdict, whatever it may be, is given? Would it not be easier for all of us rather than assume and have to change as the verdict is given?
Yes, I merely wished to know for myself if what role I am to play in the grander scheme of things. If you need more time to discuss it, I'm more than happy to allow you as much time as you need, and I will continue with the formalities until such time as you present me with what it is I require.
Again, Kalia just glanced at Eliza. We could have a meeting.
If he's already experienced, there's no reason to dance around it. If he knows how to do it and to do it properly.
I don't believe anybody among us here is capable of tempering with the ephemera on such a level. I know what other members of the council might be.
I leave it up to your deliberations. There will need to be testing done in the event that guilt is proven in order to ascertain if the lower soul, the Shinkara, is itself corrupted, of course. The same with, I will need to examine for inversions of the Shenkari or the avatar in order to determine if it has been damaged or if it has been tampered with. As if it has been, then there is only one solution.
Eliza will kind of whisper, and it's that loud whisper that everybody will hear, that people will hear, but it's not like that rah kind of sounds like Gilgal.
Yes, I'm led to understand that is what the Order of Hermes call it.
This is what everybody understands. We call it a different name, but yes.
My apologies for the ignorance, but what is Gilgal?
You recall how... yes, my apologies. You recall how I spoke of there being two souls, the higher and the lower soul?
Yes.
The Shinkara and the Shinkari. Gilgal, simply put, is the destruction, the shattering of the higher soul. The destruction of what has become colloquially known as the avatar.
I see. Thank you.
This is, of course, only done in the most extreme of cases where inversion or damage has begun to take hold in such a stratum.
I see. Thank you for the explanation.
Oh, please feel free to ask any questions you may have. Yes. So, does anyone else have any other points they wish to raise before we move forward?
Theodis just kind of looks around. If nobody answers, he'll just say, "I don't believe so."
Yes. All right, very well. I do beg your pardon. We have not properly met, young lady. I do beg your pardon, but I'm led to understand that your name is Yuki Kimura. Yes.
That is correct.
Yes. It is very nice to meet you. As I have said, my name is Albana Satra.
It is agreeable to make your acquaintance. I wish it were not under these circumstances.
No, as yet, so do I. Very well. Does anyone object if I if I begin to act in my official capacity?
Morgan gives that, that go ahead kind of gesture.
Yep,
Thank
Kyle
you.
just nods like, all yours.
Very well.
It's from his bowl.
I am not a man who believes in long-winded sentiments or legal jargon, Miss Kimura. I believe in the measurement of truth, and I believe in the weighing of the soul. So, there is but a single charge that faces you. And please, answer honestly. And the single charge of infernalism consorting with spirits from the dark dream, denizens of the abyss, and making pacts with those entities thereof. I will not use the phrase guilty or not guilty, as I believe that that is inherently wrong, but is this statement true or false? Did you do this thing?
It is true.
I see. He gives a nod. Would you please elaborate? As you have expressed your guilt, there is no purpose in continuing to try and ascertain your guilt. But will you please continue with your... Will you please state what it is that occurred in your own words so that we may hear it?
During the time in which we were searching for a way to cleanse Catherine Templehoff of the Nephandic taint, rather than resorting to Gilgul, we were made aware that an item that was in possession of one of the mages at the time could be used to reforge her avatar. We did not know how to do that. Myself and another mage happened to encounter a spirit entity known as Faust. He offered to give us the information in exchange for the naming rights of my firstborn child. I agreed. At the time, I thought I could see the points where fate connected. That the man who possessed this item was destined to stand before Catherine Templehoff and either reforge her avatar and restore her from her madness or kill her. Either way, in my capacity as a member of the Knights of Radamanthus, I believed it was my duty to do whatever was necessary to make sure this fate came to pass. At the time, I fully understood what I was doing, but I did not fully understand the consequences of it until recently.
I see. male. You'll see him contemplate, his eyes kind of half narrow in the low lamplight, and he'll say, I see. Right. Very, very good. Thank you for your candor. Ignorance is unfortunately not an excuse. I would ask, does anyone here speak to the character of this young woman?
I can speak for her character. I've known her for a bit.
Please, feel free.
Yugi Kimura is a bullheaded idiot who will do whatever it takes to make it so that things will have a good ending. And in doing so, she will neglect herself. She will take risks to herself for others, do all that which everybody tells everybody not to do, but they end up doing themselves no matter what. Typical fucking protagonist.
She is your friend.
Yes.
He nods his head. There's value in those words. I was not anticipating it to be this cut and dry. I believed that there would be doubt. I believed that people would try to play on doubt. I did not anticipate such frank honesty.
What from the entire situation, might I ask?
I find that where this corruption lurks, it stays to the shadows. It is very rare that those who are accused of it stride into the light and say, I have erred, here I am.
Well, Eliza will say, Dublin's a magical place.
Does anyone else have anything Does anyone else have anything at this time that they wish to say? As this has proved much more cut and dry than I thought it would be.
I would speak briefly. But first, I have one short and direct question to Yuki. In your dealings with the aforementioned entity, did you personally profit in any conceivable way? Or intend to profit?
Explain what you mean by profit.
I mean, what was your motive? Were you dealing with him to gain something for yourself? Is that your intent? Or the outcome? Thank you. I hope we take that word at face value. I would therefore suggest that whilst that does not excuse the crime under the laws of the traditions that we would all uphold, it does have a moral and perhaps spiritual implication that one who imperils their own soul for the greater good or the good of others performs an action that could be considered at least more admirable than the alternative. And that whilst that may not affect the sentence and tradition law, we should consider that fact when we consider, well, as you call it, the weight of her soul.
Have you finished?
Yes, thank you.
By all means.
Callie just right. As she rises, she'll turn and look at Yuki right in the eye. This woman, who has been in my custody and the custody of my fellow tradition maid, has displayed honor and respect for her crimes. She has displayed courtesy, she's displayed hospitality, and she's made no attempt to run from her crimes. But to say that the greater good is an excuse for her deeds is an insult to her and her honesty for what she has done, and the courage she faces knowing full well her crime. That is all I have to say. And she'll just sit down.
And Morgan will actually very briefly loft her hand, though she won't rise to speak. Trying to make a case that she imperiled her own soul for the good of someone else is somewhat moot. It's not her soul that she put in danger. And while she will not do anything else, if a one-eyed stare could inflict Agaman.
I do beg your pardon, sir. He'll say, looking at Rupert, I don't know your name.
A pleasure to meet you. Rupert Gallo.
It is most agreeable to meet you, Mr. Gallo, and I must say very well said.
Thank you.
He will look at Yuki, and he will say, unfortunately, Miss Kimura, you are the very epitome of the phrase that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Before I render judgment, does anyone have any further points they wish to make?
If I may
just
speak.
chronicling this shit like he's witnessing
Yeah,
history of
by
his time.
all means you can speak.
Whatever the judgment rendered, if my soul is not kept I would ask that the good death be considered as a punishment. I believe that is the only thing that could possibly cleanse this stain from my soul.
Before I render judgment, the lights in the room will dim. You will see him extend his hands, and there's a brilliant flash of purple light. Emanating then from his hands, you will see a rather Egyptian piece of iconography. You will see a heart in his left hand and a feather in his right. as he looks at Yuki intently, his eyes having become purple pools of light, looking deep into her. Until eventually, after about 20 seconds or so, the heart side of his hand will tip ever so slightly downwards. Nodding his head, he will flick his wrists, allowing the magic to dissipate. His eyes will return to normal, and he will blink twice. Yuki Kimura, for the crime of infernalism, I must sentence your life to end. However, I believe wholeheartedly that you did this for a just, or what you perceive to be a just, a noble reason. I can find no lingering corruption or tethers upon your lower soul. So it is, I may at least grant your request, that your soul be able to find its way back into the wheel, so that you may live again and attempt to find redemption for what you have done.
Thank you, sir.
He will look to the assembled and he will say, I do not believe that these matters should be dragged out. I believe that now that certainty has been given, certainty should be given. It is up to you in what manner this will come. I will wait outside the tent with Miss Kimura. You will decide if I will be the one to deliver this verdict, or if one of you will do so. We will return when you have decided.
Elias will nod.
Callie nods.
Not.
He will oh, sorry, just a moment. He will put his hand around Yuki's shoulder and lead her outside.
Okay, just before that happens,
Okay.
Mrs. Dressed, I mean openly, but towards Yuki, it is traditional that the accused in these cases has the right to make a last statement recorded for prosperity. Perhaps you should compose your thoughts. I hope no one would object to that taking place if she wishes to make a statement.
No, this is an excellent idea.
There's a shrug.
Fetus is lit. Oh, that's not Fetus. Where is this?
Fetus?
Get the fuck out.
Fetus had a sudden sex change. Continue.
Wi-Fi, baby. No. All that life. I mean, Fetus has literally been chronicling this like he's some sort of fucking
Scribe.
fucking like some bloody journalist at like some fucking press conference.
I'll do it.
Both of them have left at this point.
I can do it. Callie will say, my mother is one who guards the son of the dead and would oversee executions. I can do it. It'll be quick. If Kevin, she kind of look at Kevin like, whatever. I can do it too. It's kind of, looks around.
Does our traditional culture have a custom when it comes to these things? A manner of death?
You already
Good.
suggested it.
The good death.
But beyond that, what does that mean?
I don't know.
She dies as a warrior.
It's different with them. The safeguarding of her soul back into the wheel is what she was concerned with.
And that's already been granted.
One clean strike.
It's also not a matter of who can do it, because let's be real, most of us here are more than capable of ending a life.
We should also give her the option to declare any funerary rites or how her body is disposed of, and if she has next of kin to be informed.
What Eliza's asking is who actually is volunteering.
I am. I've killed
I
for
am.
this council before. This is no different.
I can do it.
Eliza will pull out her gun, look at it. Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Put it back.
Turns to Kevin. Heads or tails?
A matter of chance to decide a Euthanatoi's death.
Do you plan to fight for it?
No.
I don't know a better solution.
Slight note for you: you're not exactly sure if you killing her would be a good political idea.
I mean, politically, Morgan would rather that Dude Face did it. Honestly.
I was going to say because okay, an Akashic killing a Euthanatos. It's up to you. I'm just giving you the information that's at the back of your head.
Why stop now? Not said that.
As long as there's someone other than me, it's fine.
You could choose a means by which you take shared responsibility.
I would only.
I can do it if you.
That would only delay. Shared thing would only delay it.
Well.
Did Torna freeze?
No, I'm still here. I was waiting for you guys to decide because you were mid talking and didn't want to interrupt you.
Sorry.
She'll just turn to Eliza like just not like with a frustrated or like excited. It's just this stonewall face, very unreadable. And she'll just say, "Do you want me to do it, Eliza?"
I feel, as her friend, I should do it. And again, she looks at her gun. But it's just going to end up a mess.
Then I will do it, and there will be no mess.
Thank you.
Just clamps a hand on Eliza's shoulder and gives it a very firm squeeze with her right side so you don't feel the inhuman cold of her left.
Thank you. She'll nod. Try to make a very, very stoic face and failing.
Very well. Can I just turn, start walking outside. Really, business is business.
You'll find the pair of them standing, not talking, but just standing. As you emerge, he will turn and he'll say, "Have you made the decision?"
I will do it.
He will nod. Miss Kimura, what do you wish done with your remains when you have passed from this world?
My body should be prepared and cremated in the traditional custom of Japan, and the remains should be returned to I'm not looking at my blue booking thread right now, so the full name escapes me. They should be returned to my adoptive mother, Ayame, in Japan.
As you wish. He will look to the others and he will say, "I take it that you will see to this."
Elias will nod.
Very well then. If you have any final words, any statements you wish to make, now is the time.
Yuki will take a moment to compose her thoughts. I was apparently born with a dark fate. I did not see it as such until recently. I believed it was necessary, and I believed it could be hopeful that good could come from it without the need for destruction. Maybe that's true. Maybe I was wrong. I served my purpose given to me in life by the fates. And now I await judgment of my soul for doing so.
Do you have personal messages for friends you wish us to pass on? Anyone you would say goodbye to or communicate your feelings to?
Tell Samira I'm sorry for all the hurt this is going to cause her.
All right. I'll do so.
And tell Lottie that I appreciate her friendship. And I hope we'll meet again.
the judgment be carried out.
Kali will take very slow steps behind Yuki and she'll whisper near. Kneel down and look out at the trees. It'll be over quick, I promise.
She'll do exactly as instructed. Though anyone looking can see her hands are shaking.
Kali will ease up behind her and... Oh yeah, go ahead.
Like as she settles down, especially if her hands are shaking, Morgan will actually try to catch Eliza's eye and give that little jerk of the head. And will actually rouse herself and settle on one side of Yuki and kind of offer out a hand to one side. Try and see if she can get Eliza to come to the other.
Eliza will do the same. Walk over, kind of kneel down.
Yeah, she'll take Morgan and Eliza's hands and she will grip them very tightly.
Kali will position the point of the blade right underneath the jaw, so it just shoots, right along the throat, so it just pushes in. And she won't push down yet, but she'll say, "May the light of your path guide you home and see you, those you love and those you are waiting for again." And press. So there's no blood, it just pushes right in and it's...
I take it that those here are happy for me to hand wave the standard rolling damage.
Yes.
Yes.
Dear God, yeah.
Please,
Yes.
in
Yes.
fact, hand wave.
Mercy.
Okay. I had to make
Oop.
sure. Buck. Stillness.
For what it's worth, Morgan will be snapping up a hand and she will probably be aching doing it, but will try to essentially hold the body as all that is happening. So there's minimal disgrace in the display.
Collins, you notice something no one else will. Because you are not directly in front of her and have spirit sight active. I have to say something very important before I do this. And this is actually important that I say this. Evan does not necessarily believe the tenet he is about to espouse. This is important. As it pertains to at what point a child is considered to be living, or at what point a child is considered to have a soul, etc., etc. This is not something I necessarily believe. Cool.
Gotcha.
Cool. Collins, the child in your belly has an incredibly powerful prime and prime and spirit signature. Yes?
Yes.
You will see that signature the moment Yuki's soul leaves her body. The child's soul makes to depart as well. However, it is almost immediately snared by a black tendril of viscous rot and dragged into the hand of this person. Who's standing in a clearing, who's standing at the edge of the clearing.
Collins stands up, taps the dirt off his shoes, and looks at the woman.
When you see Collins do this, you will all become aware that they're standing there. The eyes are as solid black as I've pictured. If you can see their aura, it is cantankerous, black, corruptive. It's as if it is eating everything around it. The spiders are dying around it. It will just look at you all, smile. The jaws extending almost too wide, and it will just say, "Thank you."
I've had it up to about here with your fucking bullshit, and Eliza's gonna shoot her.
Well, there goes my polite soliloquy. Colin stands, opens his mouth. I've had it with your bullshit. Bang!
Eliza, shoot her.
Hi.
Sorry, what just happened? Did I see that? Did Theodore
Yes,
see that?
Why is
you see a woman dressed in black with pure black eyes as black as midnight pitch, standing at the side of the clearing. She appears to have something in her hand, though you can't see it. And Eliza's just shooting her in the head.
I have a success?
Go,
Roll
girl,
all
get
your
it, get it.
ridiculous amounts of damage.
I mean, it's not that I roll much damage, it's just the outcome that hurts. God damn it. Fucking dice keys, dice codes. As 11 aggravated damage?
You explode her skull. She falls backwards, entirely dead.
This point, like Kevin was like part way down the hill. He just looks back over his shoulder at Eliza, like, man, forgot that you
Collins,
had a super
however, the spiritual presence of both is gone.
Eliza looks super angry as she's panting with the gun in her hand, still pointing at where that woman was standing, just like.
Collins will walk over to Eliza. And just kind of like reach out from the side, just like slowly reaching. It's almost painful to watch how slow he moves. Arm to the elbow. You blowed up her head. You blowed up her head real good now. Just we put the magic doom cannon down. And like slowly like put a little pressure on the elbow to try and like put the arm down.
She won't exactly put the arm down, much as more so she'll just let the gun fall to the ground. Like
Collins jumps away from the falling gun.
Nothing happens. It's
Kevin's like flat on the fucking ground.
Like it's straight up, oh god. And then okay. And then he's gonna just kind of hold the gun down with his cane. Now. You're a mighty good shot. She's gone. It's gone. It ain't here no more.
Yeah. You know how it is, right?
I understand.
These people will come back. Like they fucking do.
Not for a while.
I never thought to weigh the soul of the child. This is my fault. I must offer you my apologies.
An apology doesn't do it much good. She kind of glances over to Collins to try to get a gauge because she imagines something has happened regarding the soul since it got mentioned, but is kind of eyeballing him like, the fuck did I just miss?
And Collins just got this we talk about it later look.
The lips firm into a line. She glances back over.
Do you have a place to stay? Because if not, I would like to invite you to mine.
I was not intending to stay in the city. Am I required?
Well, unless you have further business somewhere else.
Nothing that is pressing.
Has the soul been compromised?
No. I examined the soul of Miss Yuki Kimura, and I found it to be pure of intent and did not possess a tether upon it. It would appear as though the child's soul, on the other hand, possessed such a tether.
Do you feel responsible for not looking? It's a very frank question. There's no accusation there.
He'll appear to ponder, and he'll say, he doesn't appear to be angry. He'll say, I did not truly understand the nature of what I was being told. In a manner of speaking, yes. In a manner of speaking, no. However, this is my mistake. If you require me to stay until it is rectified, I'm a man of honor.
I don't think any of us properly appreciated that there was something like that there. But if you have no pressing business, she'll glance over to Eliza. Then why not remain and aid in correcting it?
And to answer your question, Miss Eliza, if I am to stay, I will stay at my ashram. I'm more comfortable here.
Very well.
Also, it is interesting. Had we stayed inside the ashram where it is protected, but then I suppose hindsight is indeed 20/20. Now then, one of you should take Miss Kimura to the place where she may be burned at her request.
I shall nod.
Callie is, after tending to the body very respectfully, looks over at him. I'm assuming you have this.
So who's she looking over?
She's looking at Eliza, basically.
She just looks over her shoulder at her,
Yeah, no, she's got this. Chill. Yeah, yeah.
Collins takes out his flask. He takes a hit. We'll put the lid on, spin the lid a few times, and then pour out a very dark-looking, strong-smelling spirit onto the ground. And he will pocket it.
Callie will just stand up very calmly, walk over to Liza and just, again, the hand on the shoulder. She's gone home. You take her and give her the rest she needs.
Yeah. I'll scream at the sky later.
If you need anything, I'm not working tomorrow morning, and I make a mean Bloody Mary.
I'll be fine eventually. I'll just need to punch something or blow something up or let something explode on purpose.
You will see the dream speaker kneel, and he'll start to say something over Yuki's body. If anyone has prime set active, he's definitely doing magic.
Yep.
I have, even though I'm a mage, I have little to no understanding of my powers, so can I even trigger Prime Sight?
Yeah, you can. You just roll your irritate. It's like an instinctive thing.
I'll test myself. I'll roll an awareness to see if there's anything weird going on, and then I'll trigger it, because...
Okay. Roll your bones.
Sensing coincidental magic is diff 8.
Yeah, it's diff 8.
Okay. So just 5d10.
However, what he's doing is actually vulgar, so it'll be differently 6.
Okay, I sense something weird, so yeah, I'll will my Prime Sight.
Okay.
Should I roll anything for that?
Yeah, it's just your irritate, so 2d10. If you want to burn a willpower, you can do.
Yeah, I'll just burn a willpower.
Okay. Let me know when you roll. It's just 2d10. Okay, it's going to be difficulty 4 for you. So you have 2 successes, one for willpower, one for the 5. So, right, what happens is you turn on your prime sight almost instinctively, willing yourself to do so. And as you look down, you will instinctively know, based on the weaving that he's doing with his hands and the speech that's coming from his mouth, the effect that he's trying to do, he is altering how other people will perceive Yuki's body. So rather than seeing her as seeing a dead body, they will see something else.
Neat. Gesundheit.
Blessings.
No, he will say as he stands up and brushes his hands off. He'll look at Eliza. If anyone sees her now, they will see merely a rolled up carpet. It was roughly the same size.
Thanks.
It's fine. It is the least I can do. I hate needing to do so. As for the other poor... by the way, to answer your question, Nathan, that other body has actually decomposed into mulch.
Fine, I'll still do it over the location.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just pointing out that it's like mulch and it's ridden with worms and other parasitic life. It's like, ugh.
I suppose I'm probably not entirely surprised, really. But yes, that's. It was still a person.
Mm-hmm. Well, you assume it was.
Yeah.
Very well then. I will bid you all good evening.
Yes. Eliza will say as she will pick Yuki up and walk to her van.
Morgan will at the very least try to help her get her up off the ground because I imagine that initial hoist is a bitch.
That's yeah.
But yeah, once she's upright and has the weight settled, we'll leave it to her.
There's a reason why they say dead weight is a thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in that case, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. This has been one of the most emotional scenes in Darkness in Dublin. I hope you have a pleasant evening.